welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to really getting a handle on the developments shaping our world. This week, we've looked at a whole stack of sources, tech headlines, AI analysis, you name it. Our mission. Cut through the noise. We want to bring you the key insights, the stuff that makes you go, okay, I get it now. You know how fast things move, right? Especially AI. It feels like every day there's something new fundamentally changing things. So this deep dive is about giving you that vital overview, helping you see what's actually important.
It really is moving at lightning speed, and our goal here is to connect those dots for you. Not just what's happening, but digging into why it matters, sometimes in, well, unexpected ways.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Starting with something that's been talked about for ages, it feels like, but is only now taking tiny steps. Self-driving cars, specifically Tesla. They actually started a very, very limited self-driving taxi service yesterday in Austin, Texas.
Yeah, I saw that, but limited is the key word, right?
Absolutely. It's only for early access people and confined to just a few specific streets. Plus, they've got serious safety measures. Tesla employees are actually riding in the front passenger seats.
Okay, so a human safety net.
Right. And the cars might not even operate if the weather gets bad.
That makes sense. Cautious steps. But what's fascinating, I think, is how much of Tesla's, market value it really hangs on these big promises of full autonomy. It's not just about the cars they sell now.
Exactly.
So this Austin project, even though it's small, it's kind of the first real public test. Does the AI actually live up to the hype?
That's the million-dollar or maybe billion-dollar question.
And if it scales, think about the implications for cities. If you don't need widespread private car ownership, all that parking space.
Huge. Urban planning could totally change.
Staggering, really.
Okay, so that's AI driving us around. What about AI? Well, right in front of our eyes. Let's shift gears from the street to smart glasses. Meta and EssilorLuxottica just unveiled new Oakley Meta HSTN glasses on Friday.
Oh, right. The Oakley collab.
Yeah. And these aren't just stylish sports glasses. They have Meta's AI assistant built right in. Starting price is $399.
Integrated AI.
And they have Oakley's Prizev M lens tech, too, which helps athletes see better in different light conditions. There's even a fancy limited edition gold lens version for $499. Pre-orders start July 11th, standard release later in the summer.
Looking at the bigger picture here, these aren't just gadgets. It feels like a pretty significant step. Embedding AI directly into how we see and interact with the world, it really brings up questions, doesn't it?
Like what?
Well, how does it change how we capture moments or even just experience reality when AI is literally filtering or adding to what you see?
Interesting point. Okay, so AI in the streets, AI on our faces.
Sure.
What about AI where we work? This is where it gets really interesting, I think. How AI is fundamentally changing work, especially software development.
Oh, yeah, big shifts happening there.
Have you heard of this thing called vibe coding?
Vibe coding, tell me more.
Well, the idea is the AI model does most of the actual coding. The developer kind of just gives it prompts, sketches out the plan.
And the AI takes over.
Supposedly. They claim you can build features in hours instead of days or weeks.
Yeah.
But the catch is you need to be pretty experienced to guide it properly.
Right, so it's not magic. You need to know what you're asking for and, crucially, how to check the AI's work.
Exactly. And that kind of contrasts with how, serious engineering teams are starting to use AI. They're not just looking for speed, but using it to build better products, get faster feedback from users, real velocity gains.
Yeah, but it requires a huge shift, they say, from how things used to be done, a different mindset.
Definitely.
And this brings up that human element question again. AI is great at the, let's call it, grunt work of programming. That frees up experienced developers for more creative, high-level stuff. But what about novices? They often struggle because AI makes these confident errors. It looks right, but it's subtly wrong.
So the debugging becomes harder.
Exactly. So does the future developer become less of a line-by-line coder and more like an AI debugger, a critical thinker spotting those subtle flaws?
That's a fascinating thought. Like quality control for AI code.
It could totally change what foundational skills are needed. Maybe less syntax, more architecture and verification.
And this shift, it's not just individual developers, right? It's reshaping whole companies. Like in Silicon Valley, there's this weird trend now. Startups used to brag about how fast they were hiring big headcounts.
Right, growth was everything.
Now it's the opposite. The bragging rights go to the teams with the lowest headcount.
Seriously, lowest headcount.
Yeah. Now they call it fast and lean growth enabled by AI. AI assistants, AI coders, AI marketers, bot scaling. They call it.
Yeah.
You've got tiny teams, like a handful of people, claiming tens, sometimes hundreds of millions in annual revenue.
Okay, that's a fundamental shift. The economic implications are huge. It challenges that whole traditional VC model of pouring money in for rapid hiring and often, burning cash like crazy.
Right.
We might be seeing these lean AI-powered startups just run circles around the big capital-heavy incumbents. VCs must be rethinking everything.
The definition of a successful startup seems to be changing in real time.
Absolutely.
But it's not just software. AI is hitting other professional fields hard too. Look at legal tech. This company, Harvey AI, just raised $300 million in a Series E valuation. $5 billion.
Wow. And wasn't their last round just recently?
Yeah, 4 months ago. A Series D at $3 billion. So, massive jump. Investors clearly see something big there.
Definitely signals huge potential in specialized AI for professional services.
And there's also buzz, about Elon Musk's XAI maybe building a file editor for Grok with spreadsheet support.
Interesting. So competition heating up in embedded AI tools, the ones that plug right into your workflow.
Seems like it. It's not just general AI anymore. It's these specific tools delivering real value.
Yeah, the race is definitely on to capture those niche high-value markets.
So, okay, stepping back, what does this all mean for the bigger AI picture, for innovation overall? Well, the competition is intense, and it's not just building, it's buying. Apple, for example. Reports say they've had internal talks about maybe acquiring Perplexity AI.
Ah, the AI search engine startup.
Exactly. Apparently, Apple needs more AI talent and tech. Maybe wants to develop its own AI search engine, especially if that Google deal ever goes away.
That Google search deal is massive for them. Losing it would be huge.
Right. And apparently Meta tried to buy Perplexity earlier this year too, but couldn't agree on terms.
See, it just highlights that AI arms race, doesn't it? Companies aren't just innovating internally, they're strategically snapping up talent and tech to stay ahead. It's a classic tech land grab.
Yeah, and the stakes feel incredibly high. It could change everything from how we search online to the virtual assistants we use daily.
Totally.
And speaking of high stakes, we're also seeing huge funding rounds for brand new players. Mira Murati, former OpenAI CTO. Her new AI startup, Thinking Machines Lab, just raised $2 billion in seed funding.
$2 billion
Yeah.
for seed funding. That's astronomical.
I know, and the company is only 6 months old. Valuation is $10 billion, even though nobody really knows what their research focus is yet.
Incredible. The hype, or maybe the perceived potential, is just off the charts.
And here's another interesting little data point from Coa2 Management. They noticed that 2 years after people sign up for ChatGPT, their number of Google searches actually drops by about 8% month over month.
Now that is telling. That really suggests a potential shift in how people get information. It's not just hype, it's actual user behavior changing. Traditional search could be facing real competition from conversational AI.
Which could totally shake up online advertising, information delivery, everything.
The whole ecosystem.
Of course, with all this rapid change comes the regulation question. That's always lurking, isn't it? Politically, the Senate parliamentarian just approved a measure. It's a bit complex, but it could allow a 10-year freeze on state AI laws.
How would they do that?
By tying it to federal broadband funding, basically withhold money from states that try to regulate AI independently.
Ugh, the power of the purse. That really brings up the classic tension, doesn't it? Innovation versus oversight. How do you balance letting this technology grow with making sure it's developed responsibly and fairly? That push and pull is going to define the next decade.
For sure. And creatively, too, like in the music industry. They're obviously dealing with AI music generators, but it sounds like they're focusing more on detection tools and trying to figure out proactive licensing.
Rather than just playing whack-a-mole with takedowns.
Exactly. Adapting rather than just resisting. Seems like a smarter long-term strategy.
It does, but while AI grabs all the headlines, there's amazing stuff happening elsewhere too. We should probably touch on some of that.
Good point. Let's broaden the lens a bit. Some other really remarkable and sometimes concerning things are going on. First, space news. Quick update on NASA's Psyche spacecraft, the one heading to that metal asteroid.
Oh yeah, launched last fall, right?
That's the one. Had a little scare back on April 1st. A pressure drop in its main xenon fuel line. It had to power down its thrusters.
Yeah, problem?
Sounded worrying, but nope. It successfully switched to its backup fuel line and it's back to full operations. NASA says zero impact on its arrival date at the asteroid in August 2029.
Phew. Good news then. Space travel is always nail-biting.
Isn't it just... Okay, now for something totally different but really cool. AI meeting art conservation. An MIT grad student, Alex Kachkin, developed this technique using AI. Get this, to generate polymer masks that physically restore damaged paintings.
Polymer masks. How does that work?
They're transparent masks with thousands of tiny, precisely color-matched regions. Conservators apply them directly to the painting. It can apparently restore damage in hours.
Wow. And it's safe for the artwork.
That's the amazing part. It's reversible. They can take the mask off anytime. Plus, the process creates a digital record for the future. Imagine restoring ancient art that quickly and non-invasively.
AI as a paintbrush. That's incredible. Really creative application.
Totally. Okay, shifting to some more serious real-world impacts now. Cybersecurity. Insurance company Aflac had a cyber attack earlier this month. Hackers got customer data, social security numbers, health info. The scale isn't known yet.
Oof. Another reminder that big companies are still vulnerable. That kind of data is highly sensitive.
Definitely. And staying with consumer issues, the U.S. Senate is pushing the FTC to investigate Spotify.
Spotify. What for?
Allegations that they're bundling products into more expensive subscriptions without really getting user consent and maybe paying creators less in royalties because of it.
Bundling and consent. That
Yeah.
sounds like fertile ground for regulatory scrutiny. Data security and consumer trust are constant battles.
They really are. Okay, and just one last quirky thing that caught my eye. Elon Musk's lawyer, in that case against Sam Altman and OpenAI, claimed in a court filing that Musk does not use a computer.
Wait, what? How is that even possible? He runs like multiple major tech companies.
I know. Apparently it came up because he wasn't fully complying with discovery requests for documents.
Okay, well, maybe uses a computer has a very specific legal meaning here.
Yeah.
Or perhaps he dictates everything. It's certainly a unique claim.
Gives you something to think about, right? His
Yep.
digital habits.
It does. But more broadly, looking across all these different things, space missions, AI art repair, data breaches, consumer rights fights, it just shows how technology is relentlessly pushing boundaries everywhere, creating both amazing opportunities and complex challenges.
So yeah, putting it all together, the big theme is just unavoidable, isn't it? AI is weaving itself into everything. How we drive, how we see, how we work, how we create. The speed is just wow.
Taking, yeah.
And it brings all these challenges right alongside it. Regulation, ethics, societal impact.
Which is exactly why getting up to speed quickly, but also deeply, and hearing different angles is so important right now. Hopefully connecting these dots gives you those aha moments. That's where the real understanding starts, I think.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder, right? As AI becomes this sort of invisible layer everywhere, from fixing paintings to driving taxis, how does our actual definition of human ingenuity start to change? What new kinds of creativity or collaboration might pop up that we can't even imagine yet?
That's a great question to ponder. What does ingenuity look like in the age of AI?
Something to think about. Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive. We really hope these insights spark some curiosity and maybe encourage you to keep digging into this incredible tech world. We look forward to our next deep dive with you.